Hello folks, this is Sula once again. Welcome to another video for Teamfight Tactics. In this video, we're going to be looking at one of the augments from set 6, and that is the Hyper Roll augment. This is not Hyper Roll the game mode, which is like the super compressed form of Teamfight Tactics. This is the Hyper Roll augment. And I wanted to do a video showcasing this augment just because it's another one of the economic augments, and it changes up the gameplay in a significant way. And so this is kind of a shorter video. I just wanted to highlight what a game looked like while running this augment. So spoiler alert, what the first augment's going to be, not much of a mystery right there. Anyway, I went ahead and picked up an Ezreal with a chain vest. I really just wanted the chain vest here. In the current build of League of Legends, the meta is really being shaped by Katarina as a champion right now. She is considered to be pretty overpowered. She was hotfix nerfed, and she is still, even after the hotfix nerf, considered to be pretty overpowered. So assassin lobbies are kind of everywhere right now, playing through Katarina in like the early and mid game. So I am prioritizing the chain vest start very heavily in these games because if you start with the chain vest, it's not that hard to make Bramble Vest. And Bramble Vest is very, very good against assassins, which, as I mentioned, are extremely common in the lobbies I've been seeing. So that's why I went for one of the Bramble Vests. Here on this minion round, though, I get something that's going to shape my game path, and that is I see that a Zac drops. And as soon as I see the Zac, I was like, feels like it's a Chemtech Bruisers game right here. Anyway, here we get the augment list. So here is the aforementioned Hyper Roll augment. So just to list what it does, Hyper Roll is an economic augment. If you start a round with less than 10 gold, you gain 2 gold for free. So that's what it does. If you're under 10 gold at the start of a round, you get 2 gold for free. And as the name implies, it suggests that you might want to stay at low levels and then just hyper roll to try to 3-star the 1 and 2 cost units. And that is one way that you can play the game. However, I'm going to try to highlight in this game another way that you can make use of the hyper roll augment, and that is to do exactly the opposite, which is to use that free gold that you're getting each round to push levels as quickly as possible, out level your opponents, get access to the higher tier, more expensive units more quickly, and just be playing more units on your board constantly. So that's what I'm going to be looking to do here. This also felt like a good game for Bruisers because I started getting a lot of Trundles. And Trundle's also a pretty popular unit right now because he is also kind of a good counter to a lot of these assassins. He is innately tanky, and he is able to, especially if he has like a Bramble Vest, he's able to like keep stealing stats away from the other champions when he uses his ability. But anyway, he's just pretty popular. And in fact, Trundle Reroll has kind of emerged in popularity. I'm not going for that in this game. I actually could have gone for that because as you're going to see, I get a ton of Trundles popping up in the shop. But naturally, I couldn't have known that ahead of time. And that's something that just is something I could have known in retrospect. The mutant ability I'm just checking there is that abilities cost less to cast, which is seen as being decent, but not amazing or anything like that. All right, anyway, in this first round, I see that there is a 2-star Singed with a Bramble Vest. Someone else apparently also prioritizing the Bramble Vest early on to deal with assassins. And I don't think I'm going to be able to win this. By the way, the targeting bug is on full effect here. I don't know if you saw this, but there's a bug in the game right now whereby your units screw up their targeting. Ezreal was shooting at the Camille, and then he just randomly switched target to the Singed, and then he switched back to the Camille again. This is a bug. Your units are supposed to stay on the same target, but for whatever reason, Ez decides to switch targets randomly in the middle of the fight. I wouldn't have won that fight anyway, but I would have killed Camille and taken, 2 less damage? So it's just a little bit annoying. It's supposed to get fixed in the next patch. Anyway, so far not much has really been different about the game that I've played, aside from me staying under 10 gold these first couple rounds. Otherwise, haven't really seen anything different so far from what you'd see in an otherwise game. As I said, I've put the chain vest on Trundle, and then I have a bow on Ezreal, and one of them will get an item via the scrap trait. And depending on what items they get, these rounds can be easier or harder. My next unit in is going to be the Singe to make Chemtech, just because that will allow me to play through the Zac a little bit easier. And I'm more playing through the Trundle, but I would need more Bruisers to make use of him. And I guess I can take advantage of the scrap trait on Trundle. But yeah, so far so good. I lost that first round. My impression was the person I hit that first round looked pretty strong. I was expecting them to win streak. Then I get lucky by hitting the 2-star Trundle here. And because I want to take advantage of the hyper roll augment, I'm going to, I believe I go ahead and just level here. Yep. So I'm going to do a leveling on an off pattern. Typically, you level on 2-1 if you want to go to 4, and then oftentimes you level to 5 on 2-5 after the second carousel. But I'm going to level on an off pattern here, and that's because I need to stay under 10 gold to take advantage of having the hyper roll augment in play. As long as I can stay under 10 gold, I'm going to get 2 free gold at the beginning of every round, and I'm just going to be super aggressive in pushing levels with this. So that's what you see happening here. I also realize I maybe should shift my positioning around a little bit because Ezreal goes ahead and get grabbed in this fight, and that's going to waste to a certain extent the free rapid fire cannon that he picked up. But it turns out to be okay. Ezreal doesn't end up dying anyway. But I was thinking, there's bound to be a bunch of Blitzcranks in the lobby. Maybe I should have put him somewhere else so he didn't just get immediately grabbed. All right, well, so far so good. Lost the first round, won the last two pretty convincingly. This will also allow me to pick relatively early on the carousel. I actually get second pick, which is nice. I won the tiebreaker with one of these other players. There is a spatula here on the carousel, which was a possibility, but I wasn't sure that that's what I wanted. Instead, I decided I would go ahead and grab the Bramble Vest because, again, the Chain Vest for Bramble, which, as I've mentioned before, is, I think, something to emphasize in this particular patch. The spatula would not have been bad because then if I get a belt, I could make a Chemtech spatula item. And in fact, nobody ends up taking the spatula, which is kind of funny. So yeah, since I'm playing Chemtech, that would have been a pretty good choice as well. By the way, here's 2 more Trundles. It's like, what the heck? But I will go ahead and make that Bramble Vest. So now Ezreal is kind of guaranteed to get the scrap item since he has a component and not a completed item. In addition, there's a Yone at 2% odds, and I was kind of like, oh man, I wish that I were playing. This would have been a nice time to play the Yone comp. I've gotten this super early, and I do have a bow here, but nope, that's not the direction I'm looking to go in. So I was thinking maybe to hold on to these Trundles. There was a thought maybe I should hold for Trundle 3-star, but then I decided, you know what, that's silly. We've got this hyper roll augment. Let's be super aggressive. So I level to 6 on 2-5. Yeah, level 6 on 2-5. Now, normally you would never do this because, by removing all of your income in your bank, you're just bankrupting yourself economically. But with hyper roll augment in, I can actually do this, and it's not really going to punish me very much at all. I would have preferred to play Taric in the extra slot. You might have noticed, I think I just tossed in a second Ezreal, yeah, who doesn't really do much, but this is mostly just so that I can get better shops, so that I have much better odds to find 3-cost and an actual chance to find 4-cost units here. So I would have loved to have put in the Taric there. I think that would have been pretty handy. But instead, I go ahead and level to 6, and I find a Heimerdinger in the store, and again, better odds to find the 3-cost units, up to 30% here at level 6. So I can toss in Heimer, and that actually makes Innovator, which I'm not really planning on playing into Innovator in this comp, but I had the Singed in there for Chemtech trait, I had the Ezreal in there for Scrap trait, and I was like, all right, well, let's toss in Heimer as well, why the heck not? So that's going to make Innovator, and now I get the extra free Scarab unit over here. I'm also checking out this other player. Hin99 is the person I hit in the very first round of the game, and that was the person I lost to. And I was like, remember how I was like, yeah, I think this person's pretty strong. I think they're going to win streak. Well, they are win streaking pretty easily throughout the early game, so it looks like the two of us are off to an early win streak, and nobody else seems to be win streaking very much. Ezreal rolled a Static Shiv for this round, which is not really that bad of an item, just because early on in the game, the damage from Static Shiv is pretty significant, the extra magic damage on the electricity. That person had a Janna that got off a really nice heal, but we're ultimately able to get through the rest of their team. I have 6 units to their 5. By the way, there is yet another Trundle in the shop, so I mentioned I'm just seeing a lot of Trundles here. And so you can play Hyper Roll Augment to stay at lower levels and just, hyper roll, as the name implies, for 1-cost and 2-cost units, try to 3-star them. If you're trying to play like that Garen Protector reroll comp, or if you're trying to reroll Katarina and try to 3-star her. But I think that the comp can be just as consistent if you don't go for 3 stars, if you instead look to push tempo as much as possible, as I'm trying to showcase here. So remember, I'm already level 6 with, what is it? I'm already level 6 here with, a 4-match winning streak. And note that I put another 4 experience in to get to 9 gold, so I'm continuing to get that extra gold. So even though I don't have the gold in the bank here, If I'm win streaking and I'm taking advantage of the hyper roll interest, then I'm still relatively rich here. I mean, I think I get, let's see, how much do I get if I'm on a full win streak? That's 3 extra gold, and you always get 5 gold, and then I get 2 from hyper roll. So I get 10 gold per round if I'm win streaking with this and staying under 10 gold. That's not quite as good as if I was over 50 gold, where I would be getting up to 12 gold at max interest, but it's not bad. If 10 gold per round is really nice. So, and in particular, not having to have 50 gold sit in my bank, not doing anything, is also really, really nice because it allows me to be super duper aggressive with leveling here. So like I'm level 6 here. I'm close to going to level 7. I can look to go level 7 on the very next round and be 7 on 3-2, which is just, crazy, crazy fast to be level 7. So I'm playing more units because I have more units. I'm winning these rounds. I'm keeping a win streak going. And I'm also getting access to better units earlier in the game. Like if you're like people are still level 5 when I'm going to be level 7. That's a huge difference. I also pick up the Katarina here. By the way, note that someone asked, is this a ranked game? And it's not. This is a normal game. They say, okay, and then immediately quit the lobby. I was like, what? Okay, I was just trying to be polite because this is, in fact, not a ranked game. But anyway, that's their business. So they just leave the lobby. Okay. So more good luck here. I leveled to 7. I find 2 Heimers in the shop. So now I've got Heimer 2, which is pretty good. I had also considered dumping that needlessly large rod on Heimer because he does make good use of ability power, but I wanted to hold on to it because I thought I might get a cloak, and then if that's the case, I'll make Ionic Spark for Trundle. Trundle is holding onto items from Mundo. This is going to go into a Bruiser Chemtech comp with Mundo and probably Urgot and other bruisers in here. So that's why I have the extra Trundle on my bench. I'm going to need to sell and replace Trundle eventually, but I haven't even seen Mundo yet. So for right now, Trundle is my main tank, and yeah, we're just destroying these other team comps. I mean, we're not just winning these games; we're doing a lot of damage. Like I'm pretty consistently doing like 12 damage, 13 damage to these other teams, and that is again also speeding up the pace of the game. I talk about this sometimes in videos about the pace of the game, that sometimes you have a faster paced game or a slower paced game. By the way, here I get a choice of some different things. I was thinking about Clear Mind, have no champions on your bench at the end of the round. I was like, maybe I just clear my bench and get like extra econ from both of my traits, but then I decided, no, that's a little bit silly. Let's just go ahead and take the Tome of Traits. If I get Chemtech or Bruiser, I'll be in good shape, and I should have good odds to get either one. I actually get both. But Bruiser, I think, is the more useful option because this will let me play up to 6 Bruisers pretty easily. And I think 6 Bruisers is better than trying to make like 7 Chemtech or something like that. So this allows me to sell the Shaco. I lose Assassin trait, but I can toss in the Vi and then put the Chemtech emblem, or not the Bruiser emblem, excuse me, on Singed. And then now we're going to have 4 Bruiser, 3 Chemtech, 3 Innovator, 2 Scrap, which is kind of a weird board, but feels pretty good. I don't have a lot of 2-stars. My only 2-star is Trundle, but I just have so many more units than everybody else. Again, I have 7 units in right now, plus Trundle's really well itemized, plus I have the little Scarab there. So I've got quite a lot of units in here. Now, that said, this is not an amazing board. I think it's pretty good for this stage of the game, but it's not amazing. The biggest issue is my damage capacity is pretty low. My actual damage is not great. Because as far as damage, I'm kind of playing through a 1-star Ezreal who has a bow and then gets a scrap item. In this fight, he gets Static Shiv again, which is probably the best item he can roll because I really do need that extra magic damage. So, like I said, the biggest issue in this comp is I'm lacking damage. I would really like to find Urgot, and I'm going to be looking to itemize towards Urgot items because this team comp naturally plays into Urgot thanks to Bruiser plus Chemtech. And that's what I'm looking to do. By the way, that other person, him99, still has not lost a round yet. So the two of us are win streaking, and I keep expecting to hit this person. And I look at his augment, and he has the Chemtech injection. Automatically get the Chemtech injection at the start of the fight. I was like, oh, great, this person's playing Chemtech too? All right, well, we'll see what we can do from there, but it looks like we're going to be contesting one another for the same items, and that's not so great. Even though I'm on like a 6 or 7 match win streak, I actually still get third pick here because one of those players just left the game. Pretty hilarious here, and so that means we have an odd number of players, and I have less health than him 99 because when we hit on the very first round of the game, I lost and took 6 damage. So I have third pick on the carousel, even though it feels bizarre that I'm picking before anyone else with this much of a win streak going on. Yeah, 7 match win streak. All right, so in any case, I'm going to go ahead and keep being aggressive, staying under the 10 gold threshold here. One of the things you can do is you can stack some champions on your bench and then hold them in case you want to get more gold. So for example, if I had like, I don't know, 5 units that were all 4 costs, I could stash them on my bench and then sell them all simultaneously for an injection of 20 gold. And sometimes it can be worthwhile if you're playing the hyper roll augment to like stash some units and then go all the way up to 50 gold like at once. Obviously, once that happens, you're not taking advantage of hyper roll anymore, but you do get slightly more income if you're over 50 gold. It's just a matter of like you have to waste a bunch of rounds to get up to 50 gold, which is less than ideal. So this person's team is very tanky. They've got like multiple bodyguard augments. That doesn't feel very good, I'm not going to lie. So kind of relying on Heimerdinger in this fight because he's my one source of magic damage. So Heimer, need your rockets to kill this team with all the bodyguard units. I guess Vi does also have the armor shred, which is not the worst thing in the world. She has gotten it off a couple times. You see the little like broken armor symbol. So yeah, we win that round. I think if that person's team was itemized better, then we would have lost. And in fact, this lobby doesn't really feel very strong overall. Like I think my team comp is not bad, but I don't think it's like world beating or anything like that. So I do think that this was kind of a weak lobby that I was up against here. It is a normal game. One person's already quit the game. It doesn't feel like all these players are trying super duper hard, if I'm being perfectly honest. And I don't think I should have been able to win streak this long with a board that's at this level of strength. I think I should have needed to, like if I had hit like an early Urgot or something, and like I had an early Urgot pumping out damage, then yeah, maybe I win streak through all these rounds. But I think it's more on the other players than on me, the fact that I've been win streaking. But I'm certainly not complaining. This person is running the Scion carry comp with the Jeweled Gauntlet plus the Infinity Edge. The problem is this person doesn't seem to be aware that that got hotfix nerfed, and that comp is now garbage. At least in the version of Teamfight Tactics that I'm playing right now, that is not a viable team composition. It's not very strong at all. But yeah, so they seem to be not keeping up on the current meta. And in any case, we're going to be able to get through the front lines. I do finally see Trundle die. I think that's the first time he's died in like since the very beginning of the game. And it is a close fight, but we do ultimately manage to win that. That person is level 7 and has rolled down 100% of their gold, so they are not exactly in good shape. Here I decide that I'll just drop the Ezreal and look to play the Echo instead. I don't know if that was a good idea because I did lose Innovator for that. It's just Ezreal's not that good of a unit. And this does pick up Assassin trait, so I don't know if this is better or worse, but I did want to take advantage of the Echo that popped up in the store. It does preserve Scrap, although the problem is Scrap's not really doing anything aside from like the little shield everybody gets. In any case, though, so we're going to get some more stuff in the shop here. And I get another bow, which is not terrible. The rods are not great for this team comp, but you know what? We're just going to go to level 8 here. And look what happens. My first shop on level 8 is absolutely amazing. I get a Tom Kench, I get a Jace, I get an Urgot, and I get a Lissandra. I was like, what? I think I want just like every single one of these units. I actually didn't even spot the Urgot at first. I actually make a mistake here. I didn't spot the Urgot. And so I decide, you know what? I'll just put my Urgot items on Jace. And put in Jace, he'll make Enforcer with Vi, and I'll go ahead and make a a Hurricane. I already had the Hurricane, and then I was like, okay, and then I'll also go ahead and make a Rage Blade because I want to take advantage of these rods, which are otherwise not very good in this comp. And yeah, backline Jace is pretty good, honestly. He's not a bad carry at all. So I'm just going to rely on backline Jace for the time being because, as I said, he makes Enforcer, and his damage is pretty good. Plus, we also managed to get Tom Kench in. And then I'm going to go ahead and buy the Urgot as well because I belatedly realized I should have Urgot in, and that'll allow me to drop the, the Twitch, who's doing literally nothing in this comp. And then I have to decide if I want to play Jace as the carry or if I want Urgot because I really can play either one of them. And it's largely going to depend on what else I find. Note that I did find a Nico's help in the shop, so it's going to depend at least in part on what other stuff I find. So again, I was level 8 on 4-1. That's pretty good to be 8 on 4-1. And it's so even though that was a very lucky shop, it's not a total coincidence. You know, I'm level 8, so I have access to better shops while other people are just, just hitting level 7. I'm already at level 8, so I have access to better units. And now here I find an Urgot. One thing I could have done here is I could have just Nico'd the I could have just looked to Nico the Urgot and immediately have Urgot 2-star, and that wouldn't have been a bad way to use the Nico's help either. That would allow me to just immediately go to level 9 I think that I wanted to keep rolling here until I found at least one Mundo, because that was kind of what I was missing. I'm on 5 bruisers. I want to be on 6 bruisers. If I can find if I can find a Mundo, then that allows me to sell Singed. I can transfer the Bruiser icon over to someone else, and I think that that's better. I will lose Innovator for that, but that's okay. The Scarab's not really doing all that much, let's be honest. So yeah, just kind of cruising here on an 11 match win streak, and then I see an Akali, which is kind of sad. So there is the Mundo. I was like, why couldn't you have been another legendary unit? All right, so that gets us up to 5 bruisers, and then I also have the option to what is it? I still have the Heimerdinger in here, which is kind of just random. Heimer doesn't really fit this comp. I suppose I could look to make Scholar if I can play. If I can play like Lysandra in here. But instead I decide, you know what, we'll just get rid of move out of the Heimer. I don't know if this is a good decision. I think that this maybe makes my board a bit weaker. I pick up Twin Shot by putting in the Cogmol right there. And basically that's just a placeholder for Jinx until I can find Jinx. But I'm not really playing through Urgot, so I don't know if that's the right decision or not. I guess we'll see. In any case, though, Jace is doing pretty good work in the back line there. He puts down his acceleration gate and shoots those shock blasts. So we often see Jace played more in melee form, but in this team comp, he's clearly better in ranged form. I do not need more frontline. I have plenty of frontline. I have 6 bruisers. I don't need more frontline. What I need is more damage. So this is a good example of how you can play Jace in ranged form as well. Just a very flexible unit, and I like having him in here for Enforcer as well. Now I'm a little bit sad that I didn't pick up the spatula earlier, because there's another spatula here on the carousel. I was like, that could have been Force of Nature. That would have been nice. But I'm looking at other stuff. I'm trying to finish itemizing Urgot. I can see that there is, what is it? There was a sword there, but that got taken to no surprise. And now I'm just trying to figure out what I can do with this last item. I was like, the only thing I can think to do with that rod that's on my bench is I guess I could maybe look to make a death cap with it. I guess I could try to make Morello's, but I don't have a good Morello's user. So I just go ahead and decide, I'll make a death cap for Tahm Kench. This will cause his feast to be stronger. And I remember I need to start feeding Tahm Kench as well. It is expensive to do so, but we're early enough in the game that he can really take advantage of these stats. And now I'm going to look to go to level 9. I've gone ahead. I've got 6 bruisers. I feel like my board is very strong for the moment. So I'm just going to go ahead and look to do this, and we'll econ up to 9, and then at 9 we can just keep slow rolling and see what else we hit. Try to hit more legendary units, play 6 bruisers, 3 Chemtech, and go from there. The one other decision I have to make is, do I ever want to transfer the items on Jace over to Urgot? And my thinking was, if I can find 2-star Urgot, I will transfer the items over. If I don't find 2-star Urgot, I'll keep them on Jace. By the way, here's the person with all the bodyguard stuff. Once again, double bodyguard augments. I don't think that's very good, honestly. You can see how easily my comp is kind of shredding through this. I'm kind of hoping that Tahm Kench can kill someone and produce an item for me. That would certainly be nice. He comes up just short, unfortunately. Yone survived with like 10% health or something. So that was a little bit sad. Otherwise, Tom might have been able to get me another item. Come on, Tom, can you produce another item here for me? No. Oh, sadly that Leona had a Dragon's Claw, so didn't take as much damage from the bite. All right, now we have our last augment, and there's a perfect one here for me. Titanic Force. Your units with more than 1,400 health gain attack damage equal to 3% of their max health. So with Bruiser 6, that's going to be triggered on pretty much all of the Bruisers and most of my other units as well. So this is just a fantastic item. All right, now in this shop, I hit Urgot 2-star, and then I also find a Victor and a Lysandra. And as soon as I see that, I was like, all right, I think what we do here is we move out of the Jace, we play the Urgot, and I pick up both the Lysandra and I pick up the Victor, because that can be Chemtech 5. I was like, I think that's better. So I'm going to go ahead and make this switch here. Just, playing with what I've got from the shop. That does mean I have to drop the Cogmol, and I will have to drop the Jace. So I will lose Enforcer, I will lose Twin Shot, but I will go up to Chemtech 5. And that'll also allow me to get Victor into the comp. I do think this is better. Oh, and it also lets me transfer my items over to Urgot. So I do think this is better overall. And then the question is going to be, what do I play at level 9? It's going to just depend on what legendary units I hit. So a little bit sad to do that. I really liked having the Enforcer trait in for these fights. Obviously, not having Twin Shot in for Urgot's a little bit bad, but at level 9, I should be able to find Jinx. Jinx will be the extra unit that goes in, and then I can consider if I want to stick with Chemtech 5 or if I want to drop down to Chemtech 3 and play other stuff. Because like I could potentially look to play into like Scholar with Yuumi, or I could put Jace back in, pick Enforcer back up again. It's just going to depend on what I hit, as usual. All right, so we have gone through all of this stage, and I had another round of winning. What is it? Won 5 more rounds in a row. So yeah, I am still at 94 HP, and I actually have not seen him 99 in a while. I don't know if I've seen him in some time. Now, normally I would have hit this him person by now, but people keep getting knocked out, and every time someone gets knocked out, it kind of resets who you hit. So I did see that that person's win streak finally came to an end, but we're on a 14 match win streak and we're just really cruising here. There is no need to try to get up to 50 gold and make interest off that. It makes much more sense to just push straight to level 9 off the board that I have here, and I should be able to get to level 9. I don't know, very early on stage 5. So here I get a nice drop. I pick up the Brawler's Glove, and that'll finally allow me to make use of this tier. That's going to allow me to make a Hand of Justice, which is not like best in slot by any means, but it's a perfectly fine last item that I can put on the Urgot. So the other thing I need to do is I need to remember to feed Tahm Kench. So I'm going to try to do that. I'm going to feed him the Scion because that adds health. And remember, health also becomes damage via the augment that we have in. Which one is it? The Titanic Force. So he'll get extra HP from that as well. And I'm going to position Urgot a little bit closer to the front. Urgot typically wants to be in the second or third row near the front line because his range is very short. And I'm also going to position Vi near him because Vi has an armor shred on her ability. And that's needed because Urgot does not have like a Last Whisper or anything like that. So that's one of the reasons why I want to have Vi close to Urgot so that when her ability goes off, she'll, as I mentioned, shred the armor. You can see the little graphic when her ability goes off. And yeah, wow, we just did 17 damage to that person and eliminated them. Whoops. Poor person. So yeah, this lobby is, we're down to 3 players on 5-1. I'm like, what? This is a really weird game. It feels like there's only 3 of us who made any attempt to win in this game. One person quit outright, and with just me and him 99, and then this other person, Ingmar Bergman. And that's kind of it as far as what's in this lobby. I also remember I have to keep feeding Tahm Kench. I think I like belatedly realized that I need to start feeding Tom. So I think you're going to see me, go ahead and feed the Vex over there. Because he has the death cap, Tahm Kench is already up to 200% ability power. So yeah, that's pretty nice. He's doing quite a bit of damage with his abilities. And again, we're just still kind of cruising here. I'm keeping an eye on these other comps to see if I need to reposition, but I'm not really seeing a whole lot that would require me to reposition. Feeling pretty comfortable with what I have right here. The other player, now we know that him is playing a Bruiser, Chemtech, Urgot comp like I am, but the other player, Ingmar Bergman, is playing an Innovators comp. So for them, they just need to look to find Jason. They're actually playing through Seraphine as their carry right now. Kind of interesting. By the way, Victor is not doing a whole lot in these fights. They are pretty much over before he ever gets to cast. Here, my Ghost is going to win around against him 99, so that's good to see. And in fact, him 99 is not picking up items, so I don't know if that person is just like giving up on the game, or I don't know what the heck is going on for them. But yeah, so that's that's a thing. And I'll just go ahead and continue feeding Tahm Kench. And at this point, the question is not really, will I win the lobby? It's more like, can I win the lobby with 94 HP? Can I like just completely win streak through the entire remainder of the game? And that's kind of like the challenge that I have right now. Hopefully this won't last too much longer because I'm pretty consistently winning against these 2 comps. Just have to work through all of their HP. And as I said, that was kind of the challenge now is can I win streak through the entire rest of the game? Remember, I lost the first round of the game, have not lost a round since then. All right, so this time we're up against him 99. I don't really like the way this person's been building their comp. They have the really tanky Singed up on the front line, but they need to track those items over to Mundo. I think even Mundo 1-star with those items is better than the Singed 2-star with those items, with good tank items, but just needs to get them over to Mundo. Also here, looking what we've got here, there's a Jinx on the carousel with a Thief's Glove. I mean, that feels pretty good. There is also a Chemtech emblem, and I was really wondering if I wanted the Chemtech emblem or if I wanted the Jinx. But ultimately, I decided, let's pick up the Jinx. Jinx with Thief's Glove is great. That means I don't have to itemize Jinx, and she'll still be quite strong in the team comp. This will pick up Sister, and it'll also pick up Twin Shot, which is really nice to see. So there we go. This definitely feels good. So now I'm feeling pretty good. And now I'm going to continue feeding Tom Kench. And then I'm just looking to roll here and see what I can 2-star. Again, see what legendary units we hit. I do see a Mundo, so I'll go ahead and pick that up. And okay, nothing else there. So because I hit the Jinx so easily, for the moment, I will continue to stick with this combo. I also have a random sword left over, which is like whatever. So the other option, the real question is, do I stick with 5 Chemtech or do I move? Do I drop down to 3 Chemtech and look to play other units? And that's the question, because I could always drop Victor and play like Janna for Scholar. That would drop down to 3 Chemtech, but would pick up Scholar, and that might be better, honestly. I wasn't exactly sure, but I haven't seen a Yuumi in the shop yet, so we'll just have to figure it out. Anyway, all of my rounds are against one of these two players. This one's against Ingmar Bergman. It's a ghost round, so unfortunately I don't do any damage. I do get a little of extra gold from Tom Kench killing someone, though. And it looks like that is now the stronger of the two comps, because him 99 is on a long losing streak. So it looks like it's the other player that I have to be more concerned about. All right, I do find a Jace in the store, and I find another Tom Kench. So I was trying to consider, again, do I want to play the Jace? Not sure. It would be nice to play a backline version and then continue pumping up a backline version of Jace because I don't need more frontline. But ultimately, I decided I would put off the decision for now, see if I could hit a 2-star Jace later on. Jace is also nice to hold because it denies Jaces to the Innovator player, Ingmar Bergman, who has found one Jace. Also has randomly hit a 3-star Tarek, so that's something. Mundo is not Mundo. Tom Kench is just going to gobble up that Jace right away, though, which is pretty nice for me. And from there, it's just a matter of trying to chew through the HP on these other units. And Urgot does not seem to be having too much difficulty doing that. But these fights are at least reasonably close. Like, that Tarek is healing for a lot. By the way, is Victor actually going to do something? It looks like he did manage to get his ult off. But, like, that was a somewhat close fight. I think in retrospect, now that I'm watching this footage, I should have just looked to move out of the... the Victor. Victor was just not doing anything in these fights. I should have sold Victor, played Jace as a backline unit. I could have then taken that sword that was on Tom Kench. And by the way, Tom's ability is doing 3,500 damage because he has 247% ability power. But like, I got a Last Whisper here. I could have put that sword and the Last Whisper on Jace, and that would have been much stronger in retrospect. So again, part of the reason why you look back at these games is try to see what you could do better. I don't think 5 Chemtech was really doing all that much. I think I could have sold the... I think I could have just... oh, and by the way, here I'm going to hit the 2-star Mundo, so I'll continue to put Trundle back in, but transfer those items over to Mundo. But yeah, I should have sold the... and here we go. We find another Jinx. That's nice. But yeah, sell the... wow, I'm getting tongue-tied here. Sell the not Tom Kench. Wow, can't talk. Sell the Victor, put in Jace, and then replace the Lissandra with Yuumi, and that's a much better board. It drops down to 3 Chemtech, but it's just a better board. And then I could have put the sword and the Last Whisper on Jace, who uses those items infinitely better than Victor. Victor with no Scholar is just like not even a unit. He just is so slow. He never ever actually gets his casts off. So like I said, thinking about what you can do better in the future. I've got the Jinx. I'm close to hitting Jinx 2-star. Jinx 2-star would certainly put this game to rest. She hasn't been rolling very good items on her Thief's Glove, but whatever. And yeah, so I'm on a 20-match winning streak here. I also picked up a spatula that I can't even do anything with it. So yeah, that's a thing. At least Jinx rolled much better items this round. So yeah, okay. And then I'm close to the 2-star. I just continue feeding Tom Kench. I honestly should give him defensive stats right now because he doesn't need more damage. Just 3,800 damage with this chomp. So yeah, and then I decide to roll. I'm looking to see if I can hit 2-star Victor or 2-star Jinx. I don't hit them, so we'll just have to wait. But I'm on a 20-match winning streak. I mean, come on. This is going to be the end of the game. I just have to win one more round, so it doesn't really matter what happens, does it? All right, let's just finish this off, wrap up this game, and see what we can do to beat this this other team here. So Tom Kench is going to get his chomp off on the Jace, but I don't think he has quite enough damage to kill the Jace. And unfortunately, Tom Kench is going to get popped. That's a little bit disappointing. But, oh, wait a minute. Tarek is still alive. Wait, what? The 3-star Tark is still alive. Oh no. Oh no, my Urgot died. No. No, I'm going to lose the win streak here. No. My 20 match win streak. Oh, come on, Victor. Can you do it, Victor? Wait, no, Victor is completely useless. Ah, no. It was the Tarek. And Seraphine does 13,000 damage. No. Oh, I am not able to finish the game on a 21 match win streak, and that is so sad. Womp womp. Well, there is one thing I can do to fix this, and the problem was Tarek survived. The 3-star Tarek got off like 18 heals in that fight. So there's an easy way to fix this. I just need to have Tahm Kench devour the Tarek and not the Jace. That's the real focus of this particular comp. So I will just look to go ahead and make this last second shift. We'll move the Tahm Kench over a tile. Now he will eat the Tarek, and Tarek will stop healing the team to like a ridiculous extent. And let's just watch the Tahm Kench Tarek matchup right here, shall we? So chomp, there we go. Gonna eat that Tarek, and he won't be getting off his heals. Knock Tarek down to like no HP. Does get off one more heal, but we managed to get through the Jace. We managed to get through the Tarek. I think Tahm Kench ate him a second time in this fight, but the key thing is Tarek is not getting heals off, and without that, we win the fight easily. So, it's a first, but oh, my win streak, my 21 match win streak, super duper sad. Well, I wish I had taken the Victor out and played the Jace plus Yuumi instead. I think that would have been better. But oh well, it's still a very comfortable first. I wanted to cast this game not because it was competitive, but because I wanted to showcase what the Hyper Roll Augment does and showcase how you can bully people and push the tempo of lobbies with this Augment. So that was really the focus of this video. By the way, it used to be 3 gold if you're under 10. Not 2 gold. It actually got nerfed. So yeah, this thing was ridiculously overpowered before, and it's still quite good now. All right, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks again for watching. Have a great week, you guys. Until next time, good luck with your Teamfight Tactics games, and take care.